Alrighty, how's it going, everybody? So today we're going to be continuing along with the changelog application that we started in our last live stream. Essentially, through the last live stream, we got authentication set up and we got our models rigged up as well. At least anything that I think that we're going to need out of the start. So we can sign in. I think it's user 1, and then all right. Well, authentication does work. I can't remember the credentials at the moment, but we can go ahead and continue on with today's purpose of the stream, and that's getting a actual team set up after you register. So after somebody signs up, we want to create them a default team that they'll be assigned to, that they can add additional members to or invite additional members to. And we already have the model for that set up, but one thing I did notice shortly after ending the last stream, I set these two relationships up as many-to-many for our post and categories from the team, but these should be belong to. You can see if we go into the category model, we have a team ID, and then the same with the, where is it, post. We have a team ID on here as well. So those aren't many-to-many. I got lost in my head on that one. So that should be a has many there. So I'm gonna go ahead and fix that right there and right there. All right, so now that should be good. So then next, after a user signs up, so we don't need to worry about login, just the registration step. We want to create a default team for the user. So that would want to happen. You can either do it after we log them in or just after we create the user. I guess we'll go ahead and do it after they're logged in, just in case any issue happens. For whatever reason, they will already be logged in. So we can do this inline, or we can create a service for this. I think I might go ahead and just create a service for this. So actually, let's go ahead and just, yeah, let's just go ahead and create a service for it. So app, new file, services, team service TS, export default class. All right, and I'm going to put a public, make this static async method, and we'll go ahead and call this stub default team, except in a user. And I think that should be all that we need. So we can do const team equals await team.create. Let's see, I can't remember what all properties we have on here, but just name this your new team. And I think that might be all that we need to provide out of the get-go for a default team. Oh, we do need to set up the slug. So in order to create a team, we'll want a generic slug to also be generated. So let's go ahead and pull in Adonis Slugify for that. So Slugify, or Lucid Slugify. And let's get that rigged up so that that automatically does that for us. So I'm just going to copy this, jump into my terminal, which opened up on the wrong screen, right here. Okay, make sure that this is the right project. Yeah, cool. Let me paste that in. Oop. There we go. Working on Windows all day, so I put Control C instead of, or Control V instead of Command C, and I put down a weird 200 for whatever reason. All right, then we need to configure it. Alrighty, so that should be all that we need to do there. Then let's see, it looks like we just need to import it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and copy that line right there. DB increment would be the strategy that I want, so we'll go ahead and just copy those there as well. So let's paste that import up here at the top, and then copy you. All right, paste that right there. And instead of looking at the title, that will be name, and that should be all that we need to do there. Doesn't look like that's picking that up. Let me try restarting the TypeScript service there. Yep, cool. Looks like that's good now. Let's go ahead and boot the server back up. Alrighty. So our server is now back up and running. So we should be good to go ahead and, well, we didn't actually create it yet. So let's jump back into our team service here and finish what our thought was. So name seems to be really the only thing here that we have. We'll add in some additional details as we go. So we should suffice by just providing in a name here, and we'll just set it to your default team. That should work for now. And then all we want to do is assign the user the team. So actually, I might create this a different way. So let's do const team equals await user dot, and then let's grab the related teams property off of it and just create it off of there. That way we don't need to worry about creating the relationship. Just whenever we create the actual team, that will happen. Your new team. Okay. And all right, I guess that's really all that we have going on there for right now. So let's go ahead and just return back that team. And we don't need to await. I imagine we will expand upon this further, which is why I went ahead and put it in a service. So then we can just await team service dot stub default team, provide in user. And now we should have a team created whenever we actually register up a user. So if we go ahead and register up a user, so sign up, username, let's do me. And okay, relation team user does not exist. Oh, it's team users. Yes. So let me go back into the team, and on users, let me specify the pivot table as team users. Let me copy that configuration there and paste it for the user as well on the team relationship. I think I might also need to do that for we have another pivot table for category and posts. So we'll do that there as well. Right here. So pivot table and category posts, I think was the name of that one. All right, so it's just looking for a singular name, and I named them plural. Did I get that right? I think I got that right. Okay, and we need to do that on the inverse side of the category there as well. So we have the belongs to, maybe I didn't register the, posts. It was the post, not the category. No? Maybe I didn't register the inverse side of this. So we have posts for category posts on the user. Yeah, I think I meant to put that on the team. I was kind of out of it when at the end of the last stream. So, okay. That does look like that should be on the team instead. No, that's posts. I'm out of it right now by trying to put that on there. All right, so should that even be a many-to-many? Let's see. We have posts there, which has a user ID, so no, it should not. So users, this should be a has many. There we go. Alrighty, there we are. All right, so then I'm looking for the category post, so that would be on the posts. And all right, that's a relationship I just didn't create. So there we go. So at many to many, let's go ahead and define this. We're on the post right now, so that would be to the category. Pivot table category posts. Public on posts, that would be categories. Many to many type of, and so that would be category. All right, I'm assuming I probably didn't do the inverse side of that either. Correct. So at many to many post pivot table category posts. Public posts many to many type of Okie dokie. So we should be good there. Let's go ahead and try giving this another go. So insert into team user. So that should mean that our user created, but the team did not. So if we try to redo that, we're going to get, yeah. Let me just go ahead and delete that record out. Probably be good to also put that in a transaction, maybe. Still getting that issue. Let's see. Insert into team users, column team ID of relation team users does not exist. Team users. Okay. Oh, geez. Database, migrations, team users. It's there. Did I just not migrate it? Team users. I guess I just didn't migrate it. All right, let's go ahead and just drop the table and remigrate it. So node ace migration. Let's try refresh. Okay. So now we should be at a blank slate here. So let's go back. Oh, I got to reboot the server. There we go. Let's try this one more time. Okay. We still don't have okay, that's weird. Team users. We still don't have the relationships that we defined there. So why? It has the ID, but not these. That is bizarre. Relationships went fine for the category posts. The teams table exists by the time this migration runs. The users table exists. The roles table exists. I feel like this is one of those things where I'm just overlooking something, but I don't know. That's weird that the ID and the created and updated I would get. Yep, I didn't save. All right. My gosh, this is going swimmingly so far. npm run dev. Okay, back to a clean slate here. Let's try this one more time. Haha, there we go. Remember to save your files. So, all right, so we're back at the home page. So we should now have our user, and we should now have that user with a default team, and that user should now have a relationship record. Yeah, the role ID is one other thing that we would want to apply into that, because you don't want them to be just, they created the account. They should be the administrator instead of just a normal user. So let's go and take care of that next. So the default for that is to put them into a user, so that if you bind any future users, they would be defaulted to just a basic user. But if a role's not defined, let's see here. Trying to remember how you create onto a pivot table. That is, yeah, that's not coming into my brain right now. Let me go take a look. Database, ORM, relationships. We are working with a many-to-many. Additional pivot columns. Yep, we do need to add that into the relationship whenever we actually want to go and pull it back. Let's see. Might need to use sync or the apply. I cannot remember. It's driving me nuts that I can't remember. Try taking a look at the reference here. Many to many. Create. Ah, there it is. It's the second object. All right, so that would be role ID. So I need to go, I can't remember if that needs to go in as the database or if it can just go in like this. We'll try like this first. Admin. All right. Let me try using the command here to just refresh. We don't need to stop my server. Which database do you want to migrate? Leave empty using the default. No. Okay, cool. That seemed to do everything. Darius says, "Hi Tom, silent auth is silent auth able to redirect to login screen when guest is trying to get to a specific restricted page?" I would do a separate middleware for that. So like do a separate auth middleware. Actually, I think one comes with Adonis. So like with the default, yeah, right here. So use the auth middleware for that. So you would just go into the kernel, register this auth middleware, and then this has this redirect to. Just change this to whatever your actual login page is, and then apply this middleware to whatever protected pages that you want. And this will be what's in charge of redirecting them to whatever login page you have. The silent auth is more just to propagate any authenticated user you might already have on the session. So there is a difference in purpose for those being separated out. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and give this a try again. I can't remember if that needs to be role underscore ID or if I can camel case it like this. With it being a pivot column, that's where my question's coming in. So I think I just refreshed our database. Yeah, I'm signed out. So let's go ahead and try signing up again. All right. Yeah, all right, so it does need to be role underscore ID. Go ahead and refresh again. Okay, jump back into here. Let's go back. Let's try that one more time. That was sorry, I slammed the enter key. All right, so we're back at the home page, so that seems like it might have worked. Let's go take a look. Team user, role ID of 1. So that did indeed work. So now the user's creating their account, they're signing up, and then we're creating a team, a default team for them, and they're being set to the administrator for that team. So additionally, what we would want to do is instead of just making them ride or die with that default name that we gave their new team, we'd want to take them to a page where they can customize any of those teams' details. We'll expand upon this as we stream. For right now, all that we have is a name on there and then a slug. So today our primary focus, and then we'll see how much time we have left at the end of the stream, is to take them to a page to where they can update that name detail, get the slug to where it will update with name change. And then if we have time, we will look at adding in maybe a description or a bio and then avatar, depending on how much time we have. So let's go ahead and take them to a new page that would be responsible for editing their team. So put this inside of a teams directory here, and we'll call this, let's do a singular page meant to update the team as a whole, and then we can add in an additional query string if you want to add in like a welcome message or whatever to welcome in brand new users. So we'll do team slash edit. So just make this a generic edit page for it. I'm going to go ahead and just copy a page that we have. Yeah, this will work. Or let's copy one that already has a form in it. That'll be a little bit easier probably. Paste this in here. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and stroll along with this. So here we'll expect to have the team's details, so we can do edit team.name there as the title. And then right now, all that we would have is just a name field, so we can get rid of all of those and just have the name here. So name, and then name would be name. And then we would also want to do the default value. I think I set that up as a value here, so we could do team.name there. And then I will go ahead and just set the action to an empty string for right now, just so we can take a look at the page and make sure everything's rendering okay. And then update team there. Give that a save. We do need to register this route and rig it up to a controller. So route.get /teams/edit, ID/edit. Do we already have a Teams controller? We do. Teams controller dot edit as Teams edit. And then we'll want to put a middleware on there so that only admins, said that weird, can edit this route, but we'll take care of that here momentarily. Let's just make sure that everything's rendering up okay so far. Go into our Teams page here. Let's get our HTTP context uncommented, public. I might recreate this as a resource. I'm just going to go ahead and delete it and recreate it as a resource so that we already have all of those methods. So ace, make controller, team. Yes, it is a resource. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. So that we already have all of the different methods that we need there. So edit's the one that we're currently in. So let's just grab view for that. Edwin says, hi Tom, about the video you made on user roles, the @if and the @end can make the code kind of messy when you have a lot of user roles with different screens. Is there a way to make that simpler? I would need to actually take a look at that and see. I don't remember what exactly we did for that. So is there a particular page on that's on? Probably the welcome page, probably. Here. Yeah, probably here. Yeah, you can simplify that. It really depends on what all. So instead of doing like a is admin check there, I would extract it out into like a component, and then have the component render a slot that does the check for you. I don't want to go into that and get too sidelined on the stream, but I'm trying to think if I have anything. I don't think I have anything like that so far, but like, so you do your if inside of a component. That way you only need to use one of these, and then you can just do your component. So it would be like roll check or whatever you call it. And then you would have your @end for that particular component. Sorry, it wouldn't have an exclamation point there. And then you could use the slots. So @slot to apply various different HTML for the particular role that you want to bind that to. And then you could set that up kind of like case statements as well. So if you need to show something for multiple roles, so you can do that as well. So that's one different way that you could take a look at structuring that. That's what comes to mind off the top of my head. But if you sit and think about that for a little bit longer, you might be able to come up with something a little bit cleaner as well. So hopefully that helps a little bit. View render, and then I named this Teams edit, I think. Oh, and this is also inside of pages. So pages Teams edit. Okay, cool. That did take me to the page, so that seems to work. All right, and then we need to get the team. I haven't used it yet, but I have always meant to. There's a route route model binding. I can't speak tonight. That we can give a go. So this will just automatically pull in our team here. Let me actually walk through this. Just make sure that it's not going to take a second to bind. Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and give it a go. See if it works. Well, it will work, but let's see if I can get it working. Why do I keep doing that? Jeez. All right. Go over there. That way I don't need to, can't get my key bindings right. So I work on a Windows computer all day and I work on a Mac for my personal stuff. And it is so hard to train your mind to do one thing for 8 hours and then to go and do something else for another. Yeah, no problem, Edwin. Hopefully that does help you out. I'm not the best at coming up with things off the top of my head. I normally have to sit and think about them for a little bit. All right, so we have that installed. Let's go ahead and get it configured. I'll go ahead and just, oh, All right, I'm just gonna copy it. All right, there we go. I did it twice to make sure I got the right key binding there. Okay, terminal is fine. All right, so server middleware, looks like we need to do RMB middleware. So let me go ahead and copy that. So that is global server register. Okay. Kernel. Yep, right here. Yeah, we'll do silent auth before it. There we go. All right. And then once we get that up, I think since we do have the slug that we would want to look up off of, we would want to go with, we'll try by ID first just to make sure everything's okay. So let's go ahead and see if we can get it working. So let's go into here. Okay, good. My AC just kicked on. I was making sure that the heat just kicked on. I was making sure that it wasn't getting picked up. So let's apply bind there. And I guess I think that comes in as the second argument. So that would be team there as team. And then we can just apply that into the page like so. No need to query it ourselves. So the way that we have that currently, though, I believe we need to provide in the ID and edit. And I didn't start my server back up. There we go. I need to use the second terminal for other commands. Okay. So that looks like it can't find the route. Maybe I didn't save the route file. Oh, I didn't. Well, okay. Yeah, it is /teams/. Hey, there we go. So we have our team. So it is working. So what I want to do is swap the ID out for the slug. And then we also need to make sure that this is unique for the slug. So we would want to come into here. Or no, actually, I think it's the route. Well, it's the model. It's the model. I remember seeing it. But let's go take a look and make sure that we get the right thing. So it is change lookup logic. Nope. Maybe that was it. I just need to scroll down a little bit. No, I don't remember seeing all that. Scroll up. There it is. That's what I'm looking for. Right here, the lookup key. Just change that to slug from the ID default. So jump back into here and go into our model. Scroll up to the top. Paste that in there. All right, so now that should look up off of the ID. Another fun thing that might be good is to just, instead of doing your new team, just give it a generic random name. I'm using a package for that on the Adocast site. Sorry, I didn't need to resize that so that it fits. So let me go take a look and see what that package is. That is in one of my services. And then identity service. Is that it? Yeah, unique names generator. I cannot speak. Apologies. So let me go ahead and install that, and I'm gonna just grab a array of different generic names that you can give anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and just let me go over here finally instead of restarting the server every time. Tutorials. This is changelog something. There we go. Go ahead and npmi. There we go. Cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and just copy that whole import, and then jump over to the changelog app again, and we can do naming service. Just in case we need to do this for anything else down the road. Public, static, and I have to assume that's probably going to be async. Get random name. Okay, pop that import up there. And then I'm gonna just, instead of looking at the documentation, I'm just gonna look and see what I'm using this for. So right here, just passing in the dictionaries, and okay. So I'm just gonna paste that in here. Be a little bit easier than digging through the documentation for that. And we just return the name there. Switch the length, so this will be like the word length, I think. And then the separator, you can make that a space. Style, capital. I don't know whether or not that's all cap or just capital case, but we'll do that. All right, looks like we have a naming differentiation here. I'm gonna go ahead and just get rid of that. We don't need that. Just do some random name. Okie doke. All right, so that should give us a random name. So we can go ahead and go into our team service now and import const name equals, and then we can do, what did I just call that? Naming service dot get random name. I'm going to double check and see whether or not that does actually return back a promise. Yeah, it just said, well, I think that's because I put async on it. No, that looks like it's synchronous. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the async. And then we should get our name there. We can get rid of that value. And yeah, that's fine. All right. Let's go ahead and try that once more just to see whether or not it works. So I'm going to go ahead and refresh the database. And come back into our application, come over here. Yep, of course that doesn't exist anymore, so it's not found. Sign in. Sorry, sign up. There we go. Hopefully I spelled that right. Just trying to spell password 01. It's so hard. Okay, so let's go take a look at what the actual name that came out for the team was. Shrew Martita. So yeah, that'll work. Cool. So what we want to do is take the users directly to, well, no, I didn't finish my original thought, which was to, or yeah, we did change that. So now it should be /teams/ the shrewd Martina slug, or whatever that slug value there is. I'm going to copy that because I know I'm going to misspell it. Come back in here. So then we paste that in there, and then we get edit, and there we go. So now we just replaced out the ID value there for the slug, and the route model binding is working just fine there. Darius says, in your previous live, we can see you are creating custom button components. I want to know it was simply to use Bonjour BTM primary on ATTRs, accept custom components to save time and perform. It's just so that I don't have to remember the class names and go back to the actual documentation every time that I want to try and remember. And it's for things, I mostly do that for things beyond the button. So like if you want variations, so like is it BTM primary ghost or what have you. And then for inputs, it comes in handy as well because you have some additional markup there. But one thing that I really like doing with my components, especially for buttons, is to have a base layer that takes in all of the arguments that all of the different variations of the component might accept, and then it handles them. So like here, I have, I think I might have done this off screen while I was trying to fix some of the style stuff, but it has an if href, so it can accept a link as well as just your normal button and submit buttons. So if you provided an href, it will apply that button class to an anchor tag instead of a button. Otherwise, it will go to a button default. Defaults are another great reason why you might want to do that as well, so that you don't have to worry about applying the same thing over and over again. And then if you go to do something with unpoly or whatever, you can use that to abstract that away as well. So I like it for abstraction because I'm a forgetful person, and you know, I admittedly, whenever I go to think of a form, I can't remember if it's form control, form input, and then I either have to do a 50-50 guess and probably come up wrong or something of the sort. So that's what the button looks like. And then each individual one is just a simple, it calls that base button and passes in each of the arguments. So that's the type of thing that I like to do there. And then for the form components, that comes in even further because then you add in the method spoofing on top of it. So there's a lot of fun things that you can do with components to save yourself just time down the road, just by the simple setup that you can do at the very start of a project or whenever you pull in a new component. So I really like componentizing stuff instead of having the actual markup all throughout. So it can be a personal preference. It's kind of like, do you like Tailwind or don't you like Tailwind, or do you like Bootstrap or don't you like Bootstrap? So it's a personal preference thing, but I like abstracting out components as much as possible. So especially if I know I'm going to use it more than once. So come back into this page here. And so we verified that we got that working. What we want to do is allow the user to update it. So we can do just basic update first, and then we can start taking a look at making sure that things are unique as they're typing. So let's go ahead and get the update. So let's start with a route. So route dot, we'll do a put because technically this is an update, and although we are only updating one property for right now, it will be more in the future. So teams, that should that still be ID or should that be slug? I mean, ID worked, but yeah, I guess that should still be ID. Okay. ID there. And then that can just be like that. Teams controller update is teams update. Give that a save, jump into there. And so the same sort of thing here, we're just going to get the team right here. We don't have to manually query for it. And then request and response would be two things that I know we'll need. So I'm going to go ahead and make a validator. Ace validator, we will call this team. I'll separate it out as a separate one. So yeah, no, actually, just, yeah, because we'll automatically, well, no, yeah, we'll do team update just in case, because you'll want to allow the user to add in additional teams down the road instead of just being restricted to the single team that they're automatically created whenever they register. So, all right, here we have this. Right now, it's just going to be a name, schema, string. It will be required. Rules dot. Oh, I need to import rules. Okay. Dot. I'm going to apply a min length of this to, we'll do 3. And then rules dot the unique check here for table. That will be teams. Column will be no, sorry. That's a slug. I'm thinking of the slug. We don't need to do a unique check. It can be named the same thing as another, and then the slugification will take care of db incrementing it if it is the same as something else. So min length of 3, and then the max length, I guess, would be all that we need there. Max length, what did I give it in the database? We'll make sure that we adhere to that. Teams, damn, I didn't give it a length, okay. So maybe 100, because if it's any longer than that, it probably will run into display issues on the pages. And so that should suffice for right now for the validator. It's not much, but it's all that we have. So const data equals await request dot validate. Team update validator. And then team merge data. Add a wait in there, and we can just call save right off of that. And then return response dot redirect. And we can either redirect them back to the form, or we can redirect them to the team display page that we don't currently have. So I guess for right now, we'll just do the home page. Actually, we could, yeah, let's just do the home page for right now. So, okay, so if we come into this form here, and I change it to something that I can actually spell, and then we hit update there. It looks like I didn't actually update the post or the action to match the route. So let's go do that. I did indeed not. So route teams dot update, and then we also need to provide in the ID of the team dot slug. Okay, let's try that again. Oh, right, it's a post. So I can change this that to a put. Let's try that one more time. Okay, so I can't read merge, which means that team's not defined, which means that it is something I did wrong with. I didn't save something on my checkbox. Let me go ahead and do that. Teams controller. So it means that something isn't working here with that, with the lookup. So it should. If it worked for the display, it should work for that, right? That's what my thought is. So teams, shrew, margarita, put comes into here. We go into the routes. I named it the same. I'll try slug just to see if it needs to be called the. Yeah, I didn't think that. All right, let me double check, make sure that. Well, yeah, no, we are actually on that page right now, so it is indeed working. So. Let me try the ID and see if the ID will work. We're just trying various things right now to see if I can pinpoint what's wrong exactly. So we did name the param ID. So let's try team ID there. Yeah. See what we're getting. So let me change it back to how I had it by providing in the slug there. Actually, let me try slug there as well. I didn't change that before. I just changed it on the route. Okay. See what we got. Yeah, it's undefined, at least for that one. Let me change it back to how it was. Try that one more time. Keep going there. There we go. Okay. Yep, that's undefined too. Interesting. So I added that in. See, you got to read. So they recommend using the model name as a route param because we're no longer dealing with the ID, which makes sense. So I guess this would be team, and this would be team. I don't know why that ID one works for the get though, but see if this works first. No. Oh, wait, why is that an ID? Did I change that? No, I have it as slug. Why is that an ID? Oh, there we go. Huh. Okay. I might dig into that in my non-streaming hours so that you're not just seeing me going back and forth going, huh. Um, so let's just go ahead and try one more thing there. Let's try the individualized one. Yeah, okay. Just make sure that the team exists. But yeah, it does. You're pulling it in and displaying it on the page. So, all right. So, okay. I'm going to replace this with just slug. I'll circle back. I'll circle back on that. And so then we can get params there. And const team equals await team dot find by or fail slug params slug. Now, if this doesn't work, then I need to just go to bed. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's go back and let's change this to actually something else. And I will dig into why that route model bonding there was not working for me, what I did wrong. I'll figure it out and let you guys know in the next stream that we do. I need to do a lesson on that as well. So, yeah. So now our team name should be Adocasts, and it would be great to actually display that somewhere. So why don't we add in next to this changelog a little slash and then the team name there. So it would be in the header. And this is one thing that I updated. So I changed it. We just had the changelog over here and then the buttons over here on the right-hand side. I figured you guys didn't want to see me mess around with the header. So I went ahead and just did that off stream. So we have now a mobile and a desktop version as well. And I just need to find where the actual changelog name is. I think that's on the mobile one. We'll just worry about desktop. Where's the one for desktop? Oh, you know what? Mobile and desktop probably use the same one. Yep. Okay, cool. So that would be that. So let's go ahead and just change this to a div class flex. It should probably actually be an inline flex so that's not taking up too much of the box. And then we'll do just, I'll change that here momentarily, but for right now we can just do a basic slash. And then we will do a button drop down, do a drop down button. So we come into our components here. I don't think we've done a drop down button at all yet. No, we have not. So let's go add one. Come into here. I need to find it. Right there. Alrighty. Go ahead and copy one. And let's do component, new file, drop downs, slash do this one as the base since it doesn't have a whole lot going on. Slots main. Actually, I'm going to copy that. Oh, it's just a list and an A. Okay, never mind. There's not much there. And then this will be the trigger. So we'll do slots dot trigger, and we'll actually wrap this up. So at if slots dot trigger at else at end if. So if we have that slot, then we'll use the slot. Otherwise, we will just apply in some trigger text. So that should suffice for right now. Come back into here. And let's do at dropdowns.base. Trigger will be, and then we need to actually use add the team name. So right now, just hardcode some team at end, and then inside of here as the options, what we would want to do is list out any additional team that the actual user might belong to, as well as give them the option to create a new team. Darius says, the sign out route, why do you choose get, then post or delete to prevent CSRF attack? No particular reason. I can change that to a post. It's a good point. So we can go into the header, and then on the here, change this to a button. Type equals submit, and the button form post action route auth. I can't remember if I called that logout or sign out. Now I don't have CSRF enabled yet on this, so I can't do CSRF on it. But actually, let me look and verify, because I probably called it sign out since it's sign in and all that stuff. Yeah, call it sign out. Okay. And all right, looks like I got a rogue end if. Oh, it's the drop down that we're adding in. I didn't. Nope, I did end it. Oh boy, where's my end if? My rogue. Okay, so it does look like it's something with that. Oh, it's forms. There we go. All right, so let me try that. Yep, there we go. Thank you for that recommendation, Darius. Oop. There we go. Alrighty. And Edwin says, do I have to install both the Tailwind CSS and Daisy before I can use Daisy UI components? Yeah, I think Daisy is just like a wrapper. It will create actual classes. Yeah, so you'll actually apply Daisy as a Tailwind CSS plugin. So I think at the end of the day, they use like the decorators that Tailwind provides. So like the apply and all that, and then they use the theming system as well. So like I was taking a look at this earlier. If you change the theme, which they come with a number of different themes out here, you can apply that within your Tailwind CSS, or you can change the colors manually within the Tailwind CSS as well. So I think it is pretty heavily bound to Tailwind. But there might be a configuration where it works the same as something like Bootstrap. I'm not 100% certain. This is actually the first project I'm using it on, so. That button looks big. Let me change the size of it. See if there's a smaller drop down. I guess that would just be the button, wouldn't it? Let's see. Right here. BTN. All right. So that comes into the button. Probably small. BTN small. Okay. Now that's too small. All right, let's see if that changed the size of the header at all. No, I think the size of the header is staying the same. It just looks really big to me because the screen scaled. Okay. All right, so we'll leave it as that so that the text is the same size. All right. So next, I wanted to take a look and see how the different options looked for the drop down. So I saw further down here, there was an option to have grouped stuff. Maybe it was this one. No. I know I saw it. Drop down right, line, drop down left. All right, well, if I can't find it, then I would just put some basic stuff in there first. So it would be header. And we don't have this route created yet, but we'll put it in here so that we know that we need to create it and that this is where it goes. That's the wrong thing. Up here, create new team, something like that. So boom. Okay. And so if they had any other teams, it would show up down here. And now we need to actually propagate the team in itself throughout this as well. So there's a couple of different ways that we could do that. I tend to do it via a middleware. So I'm going to go ahead and create a middleware here. And let's call this app state. Okie doke. Let's go ahead and configure it. We'll put it in here as a global. And we'll come into here and just limit it to get requests. So we'll get we'll get request there. And so we can do, since we're just going to be sharing stuff to the view, we can do this after next. I don't think there's any reason to do it before. So method request dot method to get the method. If method equals get, I think that comes in as uppercase. Well, we'll make sure. So if method equals get, or if, actually, let's make that a little bit cleaner and do does not equal get, then we'll just return out. Exit if not get request. Okay. And then down here we can do, let's see, we will need. So then it comes time to think, how do you want to persist the user's currently active team? And that's where you would probably typically hold it within the URL. You could put it in the session if you wanted to, but then you take the ability for the user to say, here is a link to something I'm looking at on this specific page. And then so long as the user is a member of that team, you can just copy the URL and paste it to them so that they can go directly to it. So that The heck did I just click on? That's, oh. Oh, yeah. All right. Tailwind hides the classes, and I guess I clicked on something random here. All right, so yeah, so now we want to house that. I didn't think about this before I started the stream on how I wanted to do this with y'all, but let's see here. So we can do another middleware that verifies that if they're authentic. So this is where we would want to separate out the app from like the welcome page. So like we'll do an actual app homepage here. And we'll do global here. So route.get group, route.group. Prefix this with the team ID is app. And then inside of here, we'll have these individual URLs, and we'll also want a homepage. So route.get slash, and then I guess we'll call that dashboard controller. So make controller dashboard. I can change it later on if that's not the name I'm wanting to go with, since I didn't put too much prior thought into this particular portion of this. So public async index HTTP context contract. Okay. View turn view.render pages slash dashboard. And we'll just have that be an empty page there. We won't provide anything to it right now. And then here we'll do dashboard controller dot index as dashboard. So now the whole app path would be app.dashboard, app.teams.edit, app.teams.edit or update. And then we actually need to go and create that app page and then go through and update the names of any routes that I already put in here. Which actually I don't think we put any. This is a really long tangent from the original quest that I started on to actually just take a user to the edit page after they've signed in, after they've registered. Just doing a big old circle here. I just realized that's what got us on this tangent. So, okay. So within our pages, we'll just do a dashboard.edge. And I'm just going to copy what we have in the welcome page, and then I'll just replace it with this is your dashboard or something like that for right now. I'll need to think through what all we want to put in there. So H1, your dashboard, so that we know that we're on the dashboard page there. Cool. And then so then let's see, we were on the middleware. That's what caused me to create that. So app state. So if it's not a get, we'll return out. If it is a get, but there is not a team ID in the params, so let's also grab the params. Then what we'll want to do is grab the user's last used or their first or just some team to send them to. The way I've done this in the past is on the actual user record, I would save their last accessed, in this case, team, and then save that into the record so that if they ever just came directly into the application, we can just forward them off to their last used one instead of just whatever first one they have in their account. So we can do that here as well. So user table dot, this would be a relationship, so we wanted to do integer. Let's see what would be a good name for this. Last accessed team. Did I spell access right there? ID nullable because there's a brief moment where the user has been created, but the team has not. And then unsigned, actually, let's put that first because it is a relationship. Unsigned. dot references ID in okay, yeah. And then we could do last access team ID on the actual user. So put that up here at column public last access team ID, and it's going to be either a number or null. And down here, that's going to be a belongs to. And that would be a team. I don't think we'll actually ever preload the team this way. Well, actually, yeah, we could probably just reach right through it to get it. So I take that back. Never mind. Team, and then belongs to type of team. And we do need to provide the local key for this relationship. I think it's local. I think, no. I think belongs to is the one that's normally backwards with how my brain thinks anyway. So, and then we just need to provide in the table name for that, the table column name for that. So that would be last access team ID. Oh shoot, that is camel case, snake case, sorry. Transform the snake case, there we go. Just punch my mouse. Give that a save. So that should, I think, work. And then after they authenticate, we'll come back into this, and they stub that default team. What we can do there is take that team ID. So where do we have that? Return right here. So const team equals await. Don't forget the await. And now we already have the user, so we can do await, await user dot merge in that last access team ID as the team.id, so that since we're going to take them directly to that team after they've signed up anyway, we just set that automatically to the last access team for them, give that a save, and then we can return that team back. Okay. So home no longer applies, but we want to instead take them to that. We can finally do it, the edit page for the, so it'd be app.teams.edit. And the ID for that is, we got to get the team back from here. So const team equals team.id, nope, sorry, it is slug. Give that a save. And then we can jump into is it params query QS? QS. So let me break this down because it's getting ugly. We can provide some query string in there so that we can inform ourselves this is a brand new user, so that we could display some message like welcome, set up your team account or whatever. And then trying to remember if I forgot anything in there. Yeah, the app state. So I don't think this particular check to make sure that we have a team in the URL should be here. I think it should probably be in its own middleware. But we can go ahead and add in what this one was for, which was to do const team equals await team dot find by. And since we want to ensure that there is a team, we can do or fail there. I think that should work. Params dot team, and I called it ID, but I think we'll change the name of that to slug. Okay. And then we would want to do view. So we'll grab view out of our HTTP context as well. And do view share the team. And so now we'll have the team accessible on our page. So we can do trying to find it. Oh, that's the right here. Team.name as the trigger string. Give that a save and oh, right. Okay. All right, let me make sure that we're getting a team. Coming out the header. Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. Doesn't exist. It's not in there. All right, there we go. So now we're getting the row not found here. So let me go check and make sure that the param's working all right. So give that a save. Back into the browser, give it a refresh. Let's take a look at the terminal. And it is there. All right. Oh, never changed Slugify to update the slug. So it's still that really weird string, I bet you. Really weird string. Shrew Margarita. Martita. I just can't say it. It's not weird. I just can't say it. All right. So yeah. So we do want to update that as well. So instead it's this. So there we go. All right. Still getting undefined there though. Okay, so we can give that a go. And try getting rid of that. Yeah, I think so. All right. What is my brain missing here? Let me back into our layout. Let me comment the header out altogether. Let's go into our dashboard. Oh. Yep. Okay. That is my bad. We do need to do this before next because after next, the view has already been rendered. So apologies about that. Let's move that up. Let's move this up. And then instead of, we'll just flip the search or this here. So that it contains inside of it. So instead of returning there, we'll just propagate that only if that's in there. Okay, and change that to an equals. And now there's our team. Okay, my goodness. So if we go back into our main page here, there we go. Now it's up there. Man, sorry about that. Took you on a journey there. So, okay. So our slash is definitely not in an appropriate position, but we do have our new drop down here to where you would be able to create a new team, which we'll do at a later point in time. Right now, we do want to get that slug up here to where it will update with the change. And we also want to add in an edit. Let's see, where would a good place to put that be? Inside of here? Or over here? Probably in like a... Well, let's actually let's finish our thought with that redirect first. So creation, refresh. Yeah, that makes sense. Node ace, migration fresh. Oh, that was a running error. Okay. Because the team does not exist. Yeah, that makes sense as well. Just full of brain farts tonight. Let's see here. So I put that on the user. Maybe I didn't. Yeah. Maybe I don't usually make it a foreign key. No, I think it's usually an alteration add. Yeah. So instead of adding it in here, let me do an alteration add. That way you can still have the foreign key because the table will have been created. So make migration users add last team. Okie dokie, there we go. And we'll just drop that in there. So now it will be an alteration add. And then we can go ahead and table.drop foreign last access team ID, table.drop column. All right, give that a save. And I guess we don't need, well, I already dropped everything in the database. So let's just go ahead and do node ace migration fresh, just to drop everything and rerun. Okay, there we go. So now on our user, we should have a last access team ID on there that we set to the actual value after we create the user. And then we'll do that in addition anytime that they switch whenever we get to that point in the project. So if I refresh here, we'll be logged out, and actually we'll get unable to connect because I forgot to restart the server. Okay, so now if we refresh, we'll get a row not found because we're trying to find this shrew martita. Here we'll get a find by or fail because of that app state middleware. We want to limit that to just here. So instead of making that global, I'm going to change it the name. So we'll put it app state. That way it doesn't run on any of the authentication or anything like that. So we'll scroll back down to our kernel, take that out of here, and scroll down to the name middleware and give it a name, app state, paste that in there. There we go. Why are you giving me squigglies? Oh, yeah. Okay. So now we should be able to refresh here again, and we won't get that find by or fail because that middleware won't run. But we do get that because we're not logged in and we don't have a team set up. So we can go into our header, and where we have this, we could do at if auth user, and well, yeah, just for safety's sake, let's also do and team. Yeah. So we can give that a save, and now that should do that. And then once we get going, these here will also, we won't want to show. We'll just want the two. So we can wrap this in an if as well. Yeah, I think I got everything there. I think we'd want to leave the nav bar centered. I imagine that's probably needed to justify between. So we'll leave that there. So if auth user and if, give that a save. And then while we're here, we'll go ahead and do the mobile version as well. Where's that UL end? Right here. Yeah. Okie doke. Wow, the stream went on longer than I thought. I was going to do 90 minutes, but what are we at now? I don't know where to find the time. I don't remember when I started. Okay. Oh, there it is. Oh, okay. I just don't know time. We're at an hour and 22. So, well, we'll finish all of our big circle here so that we at least have a concluding thought here at the end. So, okay. Now, if we come into here, we just have the sign up, sign in. If we go ahead and sign, no, we need to sign up because I just finished migrating the database, so we can go ahead and do this. We should get taken back to the edit page for the new project that we're about to be created. So let me go in here. Shoot. Can I make route URL team slug param is required? Yeah, that's right. Yep, it is. Auth controller. I'm going to have to look and see what I did in my other project where I have something very similar to this setup so that I didn't have to apply this parameter over time. Or maybe I did and I just don't remember, but I don't feel like I am. Team slug, and this would just be that team.slug. That's repetitive, isn't it? All right. Well, I guess we could take those out of that app state, since those would be specific to. Nah, we'll go ahead and just leave it in because then we have the team slug to return them back to once they're done with whatever. Well, no, you would probably want to return them back to the team that they're just finished editing. So yeah, we can take that out. That makes sense. All right. And then after that put, we will return them back to whatever this team page would be, or I guess it would just be this dashboard here. So let's go and do that before I forget. So in here, return to route. Was it just app? Yeah, that was just app.dashboard. Team slug is team.slug. Okay, give that a save. So now after we update, we should be taken back to that particular team's dashboard. And now for the auth, the redirect here, we would just want to return back team.edit instead, since we took that out. Give that a save. All right. Jump in here. We're going to run into an issue because that already... Yeah, I'm gonna refresh because I want to make sure that redirect works. No, I don't want to open Affinity. Misclicked. Okay. Migration, refresh. There we go. Okay. Come in here. Go back to sign up. No, I don't want to resend. Sorry, but I want to go back instead. Okay. Nope, that's... I misspelt it. There we go. Oh, I called it team. Okay, so we okay, I see it. Yeah, open the URL. We did get redirected to. I'm pointing to it. I need to hover. We did get redirected to the right URL there, so everything worked there. We even got the new user query string. The issue is just within the where I was messing with the route model binding down here. So we need to jump back into the team edit. So team/edit and change this to slug, and that should fix the display issue there. There we go. All right, I think we're almost at the full circle. We do need to change this so that whenever you edit the team, the slug updates as well. So I need to, that's not that one, that's this one. Updating slugs. Yep. Gotcha. Yeah. That does make sense because, you know, if you change the slug name, then it's going to, so maybe we add in an additional field to allow them to update the slug. That way they have, you know, the manual ability to update that. So we can add in at inputs text. Actually, let's add that in as a checkbox to update, regenerate slug or something of the sort. So at inputs checkbox label regenerate slug name well actually no, I don't know whether or not this package can support an on-the-fly termination on that because it's just right there within the slugify. I'm sure it can, but I don't know whether or not I want to sit here and dig through the documentation to figure it out at this present point in time. Yeah, why don't we leave the slug as is? Since in most common cases, well, yeah, you do want to change it on the very first one though. I'll leave it as is for right now, and I'll think about that, and we'll come back to it in the next lesson, or next stream. The issue I'm thinking of is, so we've generated a name for them automatically. Duck Taiwania. And so it got a slug from that. Do slugs really even matter in this? For the team, I think so. So, because, you know, you're going to have a public facing page as well with a changelog to be able to point people to it. So it would be good to be able to support, you know, your brand's naming. I'm going to double check and see how other places support this. And then I'll get back to it. I'm pretty sure a manual field would be the ideal solution, and I'll need to look and see exactly how Lucid Slugify would support that on the fly determination there. It might just be nullifying out. Yeah, actually, let's go and try that. Let's try nullifying out the value first and then remerging it. Well, that's not a not that's a not nullable column though, isn't it? Yeah, but if you set it to null before you save, it might update it. We'll see. Let's put it in there. All right, let's give it a go. Sorry, I thinking out loud. It's probably good to do on stream, but hopefully it all makes sense. Slug, schema, string, optional. $125. Give that a save. And let's see whether or not this would work. So we'll come back up into our team controller where we're doing our updates. So we have the data here. If data.slug and then yeah, I think that's just the issue with, so if we come in, I'm going to ignore that and just see if this works. So if it does, then that answers the question of whether or not the package would allow that. So yeah, that worked. We got redirected to DuckTales. So cool. So then the issue becomes, do we just ignore that? Because it's definitely required, but I don't want to make it optional on the model and have it be optional everywhere. You know, come through as possible. Oh, team. Yeah, so I guess that would probably be the appropriate thing to do, is to put that in there so that, because if something were to go wrong, well, if something were to go wrong, that's nothing gets saved between here and there. So I don't think anything would go wrong, but we'll put it there just in case. All right. And so let's put a link back to editing here. I guess we'll just put that in that little header box for right now. Something like that. All right, that one's ID, isn't it? That probably makes more sense to be an actual ID there. I'm going to turn that off. Let's go into the team model. I'm just going to undo that there. There's somewhere else that I need to update that though. Is that here? Yeah. Okay. And then come back down into the header, give that a save. Okay. 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 Now let's change it to something I actually want. And there we go. Okay, cool. So we've changed the name and we've changed the slug. Let me sign out, sign up with a different person, and let's test that flow one more time, make sure that we got everything working okay there. So test user 1. All right, we got redirected here. Since we do have that new user query string, we could add in some message while we're right here and thinking about it. So that is pages, teams, edit. My brain got ahead of itself. I was trying to think of what I would need to grab to get the params. Let's see. So we have at if. I feel like you have the route data. I think that's a thing. Let me go ahead and just inspect route. So we get, oh, it's a function. Yep. Oh, yeah. Let's try request route. Undefined. I know it's in there. I know it's provided. I can't remember how it's provided. Let's take a look at the views and templates. It should be available in the globals or something of the sort here. Those are all the helpers. You get those. I don't want to dig through the state. That's a mess to do that. Let's see. We got the session, flash, route. Here we go. Route options, query string. Yeah, that's all for that function. Params. Okay. I know it's in there. Can't quite remember where. So instead, what I'm going to do is just go up to the Teams controller. And we have it here. Yeah. Remembered it. There we go. That's what we want to do. And then, so we can do at if. Does that come back as an object? Yes, it does. Very nice. If request QS dot new user. Looks like we have alerts in here already. Let me see what the name of, probably success. Oh, I just put error in here. How fun. Let's go into our alert. Yeah, we can do this one. Copy that. Alerts. Call that info. Put it in there. Let's see if I kept that span on the error one. I did. Okay. We'll keep it true to itself and put the span back. Okay. Come back into here. We can do at alerts.info. Welcome to our changelog, because I don't really have much to say right there for right now, but there you go. And in a class name addition onto that as well. So right here, class name, and I probably didn't put it on here. I did not. Class name, there we go. Cool. So now we have welcome to our changelog. Default team, please feel free to update it as you wish. I really don't know. I'm just spitballing. So yeah, let's just that'll do for now. Okay, cool. So we have a little bit more going on here. In between now and the next stream, I will figure out what's up with the route model binding that I set up and see why it's not quite working the way that I anticipated. Read through the actual documentation because I haven't done that yet. So that's probably why it's not working for me. So it's usually a good indicator. And then, yeah, we'll continue on this with the next stream where we will start adding in the ability to invite other people and all that fun stuff. So thank you all for joining me with this live stream. Thank you to those of you who posted your questions on the stream. And I will see you all in our next lesson, which will be coming out on Sunday. It was meant for today, but I stopped and re-edited the whole thing yesterday, and I wasn't quite done with it. So I just had a little bit more that I need to do today. So it should be out Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern time. All right. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see y'all later.